Hi Srihari.
Hello, Lil.
This time, for a change, I have brought to you an interesting customer scenario, Srihari. Srihari, I recently happened to talk to one of the biggest retails in UK. They
Mhm.
had, they shared an interesting use case. I found Serverless 360 BAM to even fulfill their need, so I thought it would be great if we can share that with our fellow audience.
I would love to do that, Lil.
Excellent. So let me brief you the customer scenario and what was their need. They had distributed systems and a message flowing through various components. Some of their components were on premise, some of them were getting executed in a logic app, and the logic app is interacting with a number of third party solutions spread across various platforms and technologies. Sounds
Hmm?
complex, isn't it?
Yeah,
They wanted to achieve an end-to-end tracking of message flowing through all these components. Fortunately, our serverless 360 business activity monitoring can help them achieve that.
exactly, Lil. So this is a specific use case why we built the business activity monitoring in the first place.
Mm,
So when we are building applications in the cloud, it's not just a single resource, right? It will be a
mm,
combination of multiple resource. So
mm,
earlier in our serverless recipes, we talked about service bus, we talked about logic app,
mm,
but we talked about an individual resource only. But in
mm,
real time scenarios, all of these services will share data across them. So there is an exact need for an end-to-end tracking system with
mhm,
which we can understand how a data is flowing across these distributed services, right? So with our
mm,
business activity monitoring, we can actually track, or we can actually
mm,
visualize how a message is flowing into our business process, and we can even perform monitoring on them. So as you can see, there is a start, and there will be always a start and end-to-end transaction. And if the processing of the message is not completed within a specified duration, our serverless 360 PAM can always give you an alert report. We have a lot of distributed tracing tools in the market, but with those distributed tracing solutions, you don't get an holistic visualization or an pictorial representation of your message flow. All you get, or all you see, is a bunch of logs, and even those logs will be more focusing for in developers. Only if you understand how a system operates, you can go through those logs and understand an end-to-end visualization. But here with our serverless 360 PAM, we will give you an pictorial representation, and
mhm,
even if there is any failures within your transactions, those failures can be spotlighted, and your support user or your high level business user who wants to understand where a failure has happened in your business, they need
mm.
not know what the each and every component is performing. They can just come to PAM, visualize this end-to-end flow, and see where the message failure has happened or where the execution failure has happened.
Absolutely.
Right?
Even the customer to whom I demonstrated, they clearly appreciated the functional tracking that we provide and how ideal it is for their business users to locate a specific transaction and understand the status of it right away.
Exactly. Yeah.
They also
So
had an specific requirement, Srihari. I think this would be applicable to many of the listeners across various business domains. So I would request you to showcase how can I detect any long running transactions in my business activity tracking.
okay. So we have two default monitoring capabilities. One is an exception alerts. So whenever there is any failures, we give you alert reports. And whenever you want to meet business SLAs, and if you want to make sure a particular transaction is completed within a specific duration, you can go for the duration monitoring. And I have an employee onboarding scenario. So whenever my onboarding scenario is not completed within the 5 minutes of its start time, like any message which gets into the system is not being pushed out within the 5 minutes, then serverless 360 PAM sends me an alert report. And even the alert report will be more clear to you, with which you can easily understand which
Mhm.
business process is a long running instance. And we have an option called as view instance, with which you can directly drill down to a specific record from which we triggered you an alert. So you can see there is one transaction which is still in progress condition, and if I
Mm.
click on it, I can easily understand in which part of my business process the message is struck. So clearly it shows the message is struck with one of my logic app and my function app is yet to receive the message. So there is definitely some problem with the connectivity between my logic app and function app. So this scenario you can easily understand with serverless 360 PAM. But just imagine this without PAM. All you need to do is
Mhm.
get into the logic app and check for failures, and then you need to get into the function app and check for failures. And obviously in function app you won't be having any traces of the message because the message is not even received in the function app, right? So you need to break
Absolutely.
your head to understand what the issue is. But with PAM you get all of these details with much simpler view and with much better clarity.
Absolutely. And that too, industry is looking for options to shift left their support, how to push the support overheads to the business users, enabling them to go back to their customer earlier. So this is a self-service portal that they are looking for. They are in need of to locate where exactly the transaction has got stuck and how to resolve it.
Exactly, Ellen. So, on talking about the self-service opportunities that PAM offers, so we have
Hmm.
reprocess capabilities as well, with which you can reprocess a transaction to any one of the business process that you have. So right now, I'm going to resubmit my transaction to the new entry, which is the first stage of my business process. And if I want to edit the content, I can choose to edit it and then I can confirm for reprocessing.
Hmm. I'm sure this is going to help people listening to this across various business domains. Do try it out and give us our feedback.